What's up? I have finally got my podcast set up in my room to where I can just sit and record, look into a camera. I'm not recording myself on video. I cannot quite bring myself to do that yet, but I made a big upgrade. It's working very well for me. And I don't know, it's just exciting. It's exciting stuff going on. And I'm excited that I finally have my setup in my room. I figured I'd find something on YouTube to watch while I'm recording myself talking, because this is the first time I've done a podcast sitting in my room at the new setup with the new computer. So it's cool. It's exciting. It's weird to me because, with the setup that I have now, I can still pick it up and move it if I need to take it somewhere. But it is kind of cool to have this setup just like a home setup. Of course, the mic stand's going to move. Everything's going to get adjusted all the time. But now when I put it together, I know exactly how I want it put together, and I can do it quickly. It's just a satisfying circle to close, not even a full circle moment. But let me tell you about a full circle moment for myself, though. I've been talking about this on the streams because I've been streaming lately. If you'd have told me when I was a kid, I used to watch a bunch of YouTube videos of people playing video games and all that, and I was thinking, man, that'd be so much fun to do. And it took me forever to even get my own console. When I was, probably before I was even a teenager, is when I was watching all these YouTube videos. And now that I'm like an adult, I guess, it's just cool that I'm actually doing it, watching it. If you would have told me when I was a kid that I'd be doing it someday, I'd be like that. Maybe. But if you would have told me that when I was a kid that I'd be doing this, I just don't know if I'd be able to believe you. But hell, it's happening. And it's been a good time. I've been playing the Halo games. Well, only one of them so far, but I'm going to play more. I've never played them by myself. I always played them with one of my best friends growing up. And now that I'm playing them solo, it's not the same. It really isn't the same, but it's still nostalgic. These are the first games, though. I'm going to play other games, too. Like, I'm just getting started, man. It's exciting to be able to bring back the new skate video game, like the skateboarding video game. Oh, my gosh, dude. That was something I would just grind for hours when I was a kid. I would play Skate 3, like Ratchet and Clank, stuff like that for hours, all day, 8 hours. Now I can't do that at all. No, it's impossible for me now to do that. Just a full day, either by myself or with a friend. I could not do it all day. I think the longest I can probably play a video game now, like maximum 3 hours. And it's been a long time since I've done that. But I probably did that whenever I first got the PlayStation, which was within 2 years ago. It'll be, I think I'll have had the PlayStation for 2 hours, 2 years, in October 3rd, 2021. I still remember the day that I got that thing. I'm watching drone footage of a tornado. Well, not of a tornado. It's like aftermath. Cleanup continues after EF3 tornado. Okay, I don't even need to be talking about that. Let me tell you why I even started recording this today in the first place. Well, I started recording it because, I finally got the computer set up and all that. I'm not even looking at the levels. I'm just looking around at stuff in my room because I don't even know what to look at when I'm sitting here talking to myself into a microphone. When I'm driving around, I've obviously got to look at the road, but now I'm just, like always, looking for something to do with my hands. But today is literally the day that the most recent podcast came out. Episode 3 with my good friend, Mr. Will Roots. Shout out to Will, man. But I'm recording this thing on the same exact day. Or not, the same day that it came out. Same day that it came out. Tuesday, May 2nd. God, I can't believe it's May already. I've already lived in Nashville, Tennessee for the length of a school year. Like, I've lived here since, before I think school started. No, I moved at the beginning of September. School starts in August, so pretty much a school year. I've lived here almost a school year now, which is crazy. That's just, it's still a recent unit of measurement for me. A full school year is, like 9 months or so? I just said I was going to get into why I was even recording today, but then I couldn't figure out what to do with my hands. But when I got home from work today, on the same day that the podcast came out, I was just kind of bummed out. I don't know what it was. I've been on a streak of like great days, That's such a good feeling when you're like hitting your stride with a couple of days. But you know what? It's okay to have bad ones because that's when you're like, hell yeah, dude, there's other days were pretty good. Like, what made today bad? And then I started thinking about it. I was like, it really wasn't even that bad. So that's the whole quarter life crisis thing. Those thoughts and me on the microphone is why I'm doing this right now. because I'm just figuring it out. I was like, was that day really that bad? And then I started thinking about stuff that happened today. So I was at work today, right? You know, like anyone my age should be. Maybe not anyone, but, and you know, my soccer team won this past week. My football team won this past weekend. And I see these people coming up and say, hey, we're coming here in a couple days. Can you just tell us some information? And I immediately pick up an accent. I'm not going to do the accent right now. I probably will in a second, but I'm talking to him, and I mean, I noticed the accent, and I'm like, wait a second. I know this one. Because with where I work, I hear accents all over the world, and I hear the English accent, all the different dialects of it, a lot. I think I picked up a South African one today too, but these people that I saw were from Liverpool, and boy, did that put a smile on my face. However, there was two of them, a man and a woman, a husband and a wife, and the guy that I'm talking to is the husband. He's the one that's engaging, talking to me, all that. And he tells me he's from Liverpool. I'm like, oh, no way. They won this weekend? Yeah. I gave him a fist bump, right? And he goes, I'm an Everton fan. Oh. But then his wife chimed in. She said, I'm a Liverpool fan. So that was awesome. That was really awesome. It was the most American thing that I think I've done in a while. A stereotypical American interacting. Well, not stereotypical, because I'm into the game. But it's like, oh, it could have been great. It could have been perfect. But it wasn't. But hey, I gave them the info. They were satisfied. They said, all right, we're excited to come back on Thursday. We're so excited because we're country music fans. The guy told me he's in a Beatles cover band. Right. He's in a Beatles cover band with George Harrison. I'm just trying to get on the album. Okay, I'm gonna chill out with a British accent, but it's fun to do. But yeah, that's pretty much why I recorded this, is because I was trying to figure out why was today even a bad day. And I didn't want to do it in the car because I'm already at home. But I was like, dude, you need to just sit down and record a podcast in your apartment. Just do it. I can stream fine, but I don't talk the whole time. But dude, I streamed. Life is just a crazy thing, man. I might even I'm going to edit a lot of this stuff in post, obviously, because there's a lot of dead air. But I'm just looking at some of the notes. I have a bunch of different ones titled for different things, like different times of day, different things I'll write about. I don't know. I just have some way. It's really not even all that organized, but this one says, eventually you'll have to tell the story of Hangout 2015. I don't think that's going to happen today. That was a good time, but I think that one can wait a little while longer. Oh, we can talk about the analytics. Okay, so as of today, I'm, I think, a month into doing my show again, around a month. I remember early on in April, I was like, dude, April's off to a hot start. I think I started April 2nd, so I guess that would make today a month. It might have been April. I'll have to look into it later on. I don't really feel like doing the research on that right now. But it's been enough time now that we have analytics. These analytics were taken from the other day. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Hold on. Let me pause this, and I'll be back on here in just a moment. I just realized that I've been talking for probably 5 minutes. Never even pressed record. Do I want to go through all that same material I just did? I guess so, because I was saying that I caught up with my friend. I don't know, I hadn't heard from him in a while, but if you know me, you probably heard me talk about my buddy. It's like one of my best friends. We just caught up on the phone for like 45 minutes-ish, 45 or so. And we talked about a couple things, just, catching up like guys do, talking about stealing catalytic converters, trips to Europe. He's going on a trip to Europe. I'm not going to Europe, but I guess I can talk about the whole catalytic converter thing again. I just talked about it for 5 minutes, not actually 5 whole minutes of it, but I guess I'll just go back through it again because I'm trying to figure the whole thing out. Like, why do people steal them? I think I talk about this in other scenarios, but I never understood any info. But he's kind of like a handyman type of person, right? So he kind of knows about stuff like he knows things like this about how much what they got in catalytic converters, not how to steal. But what he told me was it only takes about 30 seconds. I might have to bleep his name out because he's no. See, when I post this, I'm going to cut his name out. When I post this, though, he's going to hear this and we just had this conversation. I told him, I said, I'm going to hop back on the microphone the minute I get off the phone. Because I recorded it for a few minutes until I got a phone call. You can hear me say it before I stop the first recording, but Yeah, so basically this guy steals catalytic converters and sells them on the black market. No, he really doesn't, but I'm going to bleep his name out just for the bit. But the reason why these things get stolen all the time is because it only takes like 30 seconds to do it, and they have platinum, palladium, and rhodium in it, and they're worth like $800 to $1,200 minimum. That's the first thing that popped up on Google when I started researching it. Just because, that's what guys do when they talk to each other on the phone. They talk about stealing catalytic converters. That's enough of that. But basically, yeah, man, stop stealing people's catalytic converters. Let's talk about that guy's trip to Europe, though. This dude's going to Europe for over 30 days. I went there one time when I was 18, and I'm not going to tell that story today because that was a really cool 10 days of my life, but I don't really want to get into it right now. I can save that one for another time. I've told that story on Live with DJP back on Facebook. You can find it deep in my Facebook if you look through a lot of stuff. It's in there, but I think I could tell the story better now that I'm older, and I think I've gotten to be a little bit of a better storyteller, a better speaker. I would say better talker, but I keep stepping on my tongues trying to see. You see this? Quarter life crisis. I'm still figuring that out. And so are you. Oh, you got life all figured out, huh? Go f*** yourself. I'm only at 13 minutes. Yeah, okay, maybe I didn't talk about it, but this dude's going for 30-something days, and it's just 3 people. It's he and they, wait, I guess I got to cut his name out too, but they're going there for 30-something days. Smell like trouble to me, you know what I'm saying? Just coming from my perspective, I don't know, I'm just hating, but I don't want to talk about y'all's trip to Europe. That's not my trip. I'll take a trip someday back over there. When I first recorded this, I accidentally said when I was 10 when I went to Italy. I was actually 18, so I had to clear that up to cover my ass. Thank you for understanding. 10, I had a chaperone the whole time. We were with like a school group. We just graduated high school. They didn't even let us drink, dog. It's legal to do it there, but we did it anyways, just a little bit. Not a whole lot. Like, we weren't getting trashed and throwing wine bottles off the roof like that person in my my older brother's group did. That's so disrespectful. That's why people hate Americans. And I'm almost positive I got that first thing on recording. I haven't been looking at my computer because it feels weird to look at my computer while it's recording. I think I got the first thing on here, though. I'll have to go back and listen to it. If not, I can tell the story again. But I pulled the most almost stereotypical American thing ever with the person from the UK today. I need to go make myself some dinner because it is past 8 o'clock. I need to go to bed at an early enough time. There is going to be a stream on Wednesday night, though. Wednesday night streams, I think, is I'm going to try and bring those back, man. I don't really work a lot of Wednesday nights as of right now, knock on wood. But if I do start working a lot of Wednesday nights, it's going to be hard to do the stream. It's going to be impossible, in fact, to do it at the same time. But who knows? I don't know. I'm thinking Wednesdays 9 p.m., 9 or 9:30. I think 9 p.m. would be good, or 8:30. It just depends on what time I'm eating dinner. Because Wednesday, if I start doing a show at a specific time every week, I'm going to have to center an entire day around making sure I meet that deadline, which is great because it helps me organize my day and be more on time with everything. But it also makes that day a little bit monotonous. But on the other end, though, it gives you something to look forward to all day. Like, the show is tonight. But if you're not having a good day, then you get to the show and you're like, this. So, I don't know. I just want to give y'all my best self. But sometimes I don't. But I give you the real self. And I guess that's the thing. Even if I'm having a shitty day, I'd be on there. I'd be my real self. But I just don't know if I want people to see me on camera miserable, you know? Like, for real? Does anyone want that? Probably not. It's probably pretty embarrassing. 17, 18 minutes, 17:30, I guess. There's going to be a good bit of cutouts in this, though, with all the dead air. And I haven't been recording my video, but I've been, like, looking at it. I might even pull it up on the OBS, record myself there. All right, let me see. Jesus. So I'm looking at the notes on my phone, and this is something I wrote about jazz music at 6:45 p.m. Gee, I'm reading back at myself and making fun of myself while I do this. I'm not actually going to read it out because what I wrote is, I think it's good thoughts, but it's super cheesy, and I just don't feel like sharing it. But it's, I don't know, it's good thoughts about jazz music. Oh, analytics. That's what I left off at, was the analytics. Analytics, baby. Okay, so we're about a month in. Finally got our first thing. As guessed, 75% male. Who would have guessed that, huh? But 24% female. And then what is that 1%? Non-specified. So it's not non-binary, but we're making headway. I want to break through to all communities, not just the fellas, because I guess some of the ladies like hearing me talk about their, I don't know, I have no idea if you're a woman why you would ever want to listen to me talk, but I want to reach all communities. For real. Just know I think about you all, not just myself. And if you're listening to this like, oh, this guy only ever thinks about himself, you have moments like that too, where only you think about yourself. But at the end of the day, there's probably someone else that you're thinking about out there too. So have a good day. Take care of yourself. I don't really care if you get to bed on time. You do what you want with all that. Just do whatever works for you, okay? Take care.
So a few minutes ago, I just got done recording a 30-minute long one of these little logs. Captain Log. The quarter life drive time section. The portion, the segment of the Quarter Life Crisis podcast. But I didn't even cover the topic that I wanted to talk about whenever I first started recording, because I kept getting distracted. I wanted to talk about this whole continuous music taste, this little theory, the idea that I like to think about. It's just a fun one to entertain in my mind, and I might as well record myself while I talk about it. I want to talk about Mount Rushmore of music taste, especially mine today, because that's exactly why I do this, of course. I'm just going to rifle off 4 names right now. Pink Floyd, Sturgill Simpson. Okay, I only got 2. I know I had 3 and 4. I don't remember what the other... Marshall Tucker Band. So there's 3. What would my 4th be? Childish Gambino? Donald Glover, I guess. We'll start with that list. Pink Floyd, Sturgill Simpson, Marshall Tucker, Childish Gambino. We'll start there. Got a little bit of modern taste in there. Got a little bit of classic taste. A lot of classic taste in there. Decades of music. I love the Marshall Tucker bands because I love country music. I love Southern rock. Especially, I think the reason why I say Marshall Tucker bands up there, I'm going to start with Marshall Tucker. We'll break them down. It's got every instrument I love in country music and the solos and drums of classic rock and of rock and roll. The voice has got its own uniqueness to it. Toy Caldwell, I believe the fellow's name is. The name is perfect. Perfect name, perfect stories. You have Marshall Tucker, the blind piano tuner who let them rent his warehouse to practice in. That's so authentic. I love that. And it's American. It's Southern. Which I'm proud of that. And if you want to hate on me for that, you can. But I am an American, so I'm going to be a little bit partial. Blame me if you want. But let me get to my next point for you. Pause before you get rid of the podcast. Pink Floyd is who I'm going to talk about next because they're British. English, I should say, from the UK. And the first song I'm going to talk about is Fearless from the 1971 album Metal, when Pink Floyd captured and defined their sound that guided them through the rest of the 70s. Because it changed in the 80s and 90s. 100% it changed in the 80s and 90s. But we're going to talk about 71 because that was a great year for a lot of different reasons. First, the other album that comes into my mind about 71, of course, is Sticky Fingers, Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones aren't on my Mount Rushmore. I'm sorry, Rolling Stones. Y'all are great, but Pink Floyd beat y'all to it because they're a personal favorite. And other people's Mount Rushmores, I guarantee the Rolling Stones are on probably 60% of people's. That's a random estimated statistic that I'm just throwing into the wind. But I like that idea. 60% of people probably have the Rolling Stones on their rock and roll Mount Rushmore. Getting off topic, but Pink Floyd, 71, Fearless, Metal, Echoes, holy shit, masterpiece of a song. Creepy as hell, but it makes you feel a certain type of way. That's impressive work with instruments. It's like a horror movie soundtrack bundled in a 23-minute long piece of music, and it's incredible. Fearless, though, the reason why I like talking about that is because it's got You'll Never Walk Alone in the end. It's got a soccer team chant, one of my favorite sports, the most beautiful game. All right, now you can pause and turn it off since I'm going to talk about soccer. Not really. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but having that in there, and it's already just a great song, and a Pillow of Winds in there with the steel guitar or slide guitar, whatever it is, incredible. Then you get into 73 with Dark Side of the Moon, one of the greatest albums of all time. 75, Wish You Were Here. 76 or 77 was Animals. 79, of course, The Wall, the album to end it all. One album to end it all. Not really end it, but start a new chapter. There's that damn white RAV4 again. How did you get back up here? Or is this another one? I'm getting out of this guy's way. This lady's way, I should say. Sorry to assume like that. I know I'm such a bigot. I don't know. I think it was that lady that I saw earlier. Well, she's in a hurry to get somewhere, obviously. And I wasn't even recording this one when I was talking last. I had to pause after 30 minutes, deal with some things, make a phone call, listen to some more music. But Mount Rushmore, so we basically covered Pink Floyd, because they've been one of my favorites since I was 16. That was 7 years ago now. I'm getting up to 7 years of listening to Pink Floyd every single year and having them in my top band results on whatever streaming service or buying music or whatever. 7 years of being one of my favorite bands. Marshall Tucker Band, I think they're probably 2 years in to being up there. I don't know, this is the first time I've really just gone straight at the Mount Rushmore that I can think of in a long time. Marshall Tucker up there for 2-3 years. It's been a long time. I've been listening to them since I was 16 too, thanks to good old Mr. Sam, soon to be Nashville resident. That'll be tight, man. That'll be a great new chapter when that man joins the party up there. Shout out. I don't know if he's ever going to listen to this. Marshall Tucker Band has been just a favorite. It's one of my dad's favorites, so that's definitely another reason why I'm partial to it. And then we'll go, I guess, 2 more Americans, because I'm a little partial. What the f*** ever, get over it. We'll go Donald Glover. And I'll round it off with Sturgill. Donald Glover's just, I mean, his 2011 stuff is a little dated now, I'm not going to lie. But when it comes to how that he can do anything, he can act, he can sing, he can write. That man is hilarious. He's just such an incredible just such an incredible human being. And that'd be so cool to talk to him one day, or like the Dream Dinner Table. That's very similar to the Mount Rushmore. We're gonna have to bring that one up again in the future soon, but I saw him that one time in concert. He had just a way of controlling the crowd and just creating such an incredible atmosphere. I was like, damn, dude, that guy is seriously... The whole he's him, that's kind of dying off right now, but that's just what I'll say about him, is like, that's him. You know, it sounds stupid, I know, but he's truly a one-of-a-kind human being. And I just have so much respect for him in the 21st century, what he's done for just pop culture and culture in general. Not as much folk culture. I don't want to get too far for that. He did do that, This Is America, so someone's probably going to get mad at me for saying, oh, he didn't really affect culture when he made that one song. He made some incredible songs. That's not even close to being his best song. Flight of the Navigator, are you kidding me? The entirety of that 2013 album, Because the Internet, is one of my favorite albums of all time. 2014, Kauai Stone Mountain. 2016. God, it's been so long since then now. That's so insane. I get a tickle in the back of my throat when I do these because I talk so much. Donald Glover is seriously just incredible. His comedy act, that one's definitely dated. That's something I'm going to edit out when I put this on the internet. But holy that's just hilarious. So incredibly out of pocket, but that's why it's funny, because I've never heard someone say that. But of course a kid would say that, because kids are kind of evil, man. They're evil because they don't know better. It's not their fault. They don't know better yet. I don't know better, and I'm 23 years old. I got a lot of learning to do. But I don't know how old those kids were. But him and the story about the Trinidadian babysitters. You leave that little girl alone. That's hilarious, man. His impressions. I don't know. I think that he's incredible. One of my favorites in the century. I used to really say that I like Kanye West. That opinion's changing now. Donald Glover's going to have to take a drastic measure like that if he really wants to lose my respect. I'll separate the art from the artist with a guy like Kanye, but he's man. He's got some serious going on, which sucks, man. That really does suck for him. But, you know, if you don't want help, man, I get it. Sometimes I don't want help either, but I don't want to get into that, man. I really don't need to. Now let's move to Sturgill Simpson before I get too far. 3 years now, I think, since I really started just kicking into some Sturgill. 4 years, holy. 4 years coming in the summertime 2019. Talk about a time for character development, man. Sturgill's just been part of this past 4-year progression for me, though. Not a whole lot my freshman year in college, but going into the summer and going into sophomore year, listening to country music more. Junior year, big part of it. Senior year, and another incredible musician, incredible thinker. Make some interesting decisions, but don't we all? That's someone I really want to meet and just talk to. And the Germ thing, I need to just look it up on the internet. But I like that I could have some people I work with to explain it to me a little bit more. So thank you, coworker, who I don't want to name drop today. Thank you for doing what you do in your full-time job and your part-time job and explaining Germ to me. For people that don't know, that's someone that's, when they see an artist, they're like fangirl, fanboy, fanning, being a little over the top. Germ, I think, is just the PC way of saying don't act like a dork when you see someone that you're obsessed with. Stay cool. Cool, calm, collected. Stay cool. I just think it'd be so cool to meet him. Sturgill would be a really cool person to just come across. I don't think I'm ever going to really find him unless I take a trip to the Bluebird Cafe or the Station Inn. I think that's where I would need to go if I want to find my favorites. If I want to find the country stars that I'm really a big fan of. Billy Strings, I believe, lives in Nashville. I want to meet him, but I think he's going to be more intimidating. Sturgill, I feel like, would be intimidating because he's a quieter guy. Tyler Childers, he's just kind of intimidating face. I'd meet him too. I'd like to talk to him. How easy is that going to be? Not very easy, because you got to go through a lot of hoops. But if that dude can dress up like Joel Osteen and get all the way to the floor, he did get in trouble, but that was hilarious. Why do people think I look like Joel? No, I do know why. I know why, but what a funny person to get compared to. Joel Osteen. Mount Rushmore, baby. I think I've basically covered it with those being my 4. It's going to take a lot of moving around to really bump anyone out of there. There's, of course, old country stars I love. Like, I love me some Merle. I love me some Willie Nelson. I love Marvin Gaye, too, man. I've listened to a good bit of his discography at this point. If there was room for 5, it'd be Marvin. Only person I'd switch out for Gambino would be Marvin, but he got... This is terrible, but he got shot by his father before he could do anything even more incredible than what he was already doing. He really left behind some amazing music. Stuff that really did change the culture. Like the What's Going On, 1971, What's Going On. One of the best albums of all time. But he's just not on the Rushmore. I know how judgmental that could sound, but you know, that's another point about this whole continuous music theory thing that I like talking about, is that, you know, that it can change. I'm not opposed to change there. Maybe just because I'm terrible at making up my mind on things, but I can be influenced to think otherwise. Obviously, if you can't, then you need to open up your mind a little bit. Let people change your mind on things. Don't be so hard-nosed about every idea that you have. How far am I into this? 14 minutes? I've already done 40. I've cleared 45 minutes of this drive. Yammering. Talking, some might say. I feel like that's one that I'm going to have to shy away from. Because it's really not that bad, but I don't think it would age very well saying something like that. And I can edit this part out if I feel like it. I don't know how people would retort, how they would react to me saying the 2 words talking. That just sounds hilarious. I really don't know what the problem would be with that. I don't know who would have a problem with it, but I just have this feeling with a lot of stuff that I say. I was like, and a lot of the jobs I've had, a lot of their policies are like, if you feel like you shouldn't say it, you probably shouldn't. So my instinct is saying, don't make a habit. That's a big old piece of heavy machinery. That's something we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about lotto winning and what the first purchase of heavy machinery would be. I'll have to get back to that. Talking though. I just need good words for communicating. Chopping it up, man. That's a great one. We love to chop it up, you know. I like chopping it up. That's a great one for talking about just having a good time, just conversing, chopping it up. Uncle Billy's a big fan of that. I need to send him some of these. Uncle B, one of my biggest fans, one of my most loyal fans. It's very nice to have someone that you know is going to be out there listening. Just in your court, for just some reason, they like you, you know? And I'm not trying to get too big for my britches here, but it's just cool. All right, there is a car with the blue plate up here, just driving next to me. So I'm going to put my phone down and stop recording because I really don't feel like taking any risks. But I'm going to cut off there. February 9, 2023.